welcome back to another episode of Revise Enterprise. Today we're going to help GCSE Edexcel Business 9-1 students. Specifically, we're going to have a look at mastering 3 markers. The 2 topic areas that we're going to cover 2 different questions today. Our topic 1.3, putting the business idea into practice. And then the second topic area from the second question is covered under topic 1.5, which is understanding external influences on business. So what I'd like to do is get you guys a bit more confident in this area of the course, mastering 3 markers, and hopefully when you walk into your exam, it'll make you a lot more confident as well. So let's have a look at the first question, how we're going to tackle it, and then how we're going to structure it as well. So the first question says, as a 3 marker, explain one disadvantage, that's a drawback, to a small business of using an overdraft as a source of finance. Finance being, how is the business actually going to be funded? So the first thing you might want to do in an exam before you even tackle this question is just think about or underline some of the keywords that are going to help you answer this question. So I'm just going to switch on the board for a second and let's have a look at some of the keywords here that we can underline. So one disadvantage, first of all, is a keyword we can underline. We're relating our answer back to a small business, so it doesn't have to be a specific business. Of course, this scenario here is not based on a case study, it's just a general question. So we can relate it back to a small business. We need to relate our answer back to an overdraft, so we can underline that. And then of course we're talking here about the concept of a source of finance. So how is the business actually funded? So what I'll do on the next slide is just go through an example answer. How can we get 3 marks out of 3 for you on this particular question? So if we just cross off here on the board, we'll go to the next slide. So first of all, one disadvantage of using an overdraft as a source of finance is that is an expensive way for the business to borrow money from a bank. So they have additional charges in place. It's going to cost the business a lot more money using this particular source of finance. That's your disadvantage. Then in the middle, what you're doing is a connecting comment. So either explain comment with either this means that or this is because. Okay, so in the middle sentence, guys, we're going to say this is because an overdraft typically has high rates of interest, meaning that the business will need to pay back lots of extra money to their lender, for example, the banking institution. And then finally, what's the impact? So what is going to lead to for the business finally? So this will lead to, for the business, lower profitability and more chance of the small business going bankrupt. So from your explain comment there and your point, you explain finally what it actually leads to for the business. If you structure it like this in 3 different parts, point, explain and impact, it'll likely get you success and 3 marks on this question. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, that first question. Let's have a look at another example. Same concept again. It's not related to a case study. It's worth 3 marks. And the second question is, explain one possible conflict. That's an argument between 2 or more stakeholders in this particular instance. That can exist between stakeholders of a business, and stakeholders meaning anyone who has an interest within the activities of a particular business. All right. So again, just underline some of the keywords that are going to help you here. And again, you're just looking at one possible conflict. You can underline that. And then the other keyword in here that we need to underline, we do need to relate our answer back to stakeholders as well. Really important we do that to get full marks on this question. So let's have a look at an example answer for this question then on the next slide. So one possible conflict that can exist is disputes over pay and working conditions between owners and employees of a business. Arguably, they're the 2 most important stakeholders, owners and employees of a business. Disputes can happen between pay and working conditions. That's one example of a big conflict that can occur. Then in your explain section, guys, this is because owners will want to keep costs down by paying employees less, of course, because they want to keep more profits for themselves, whilst employees, on the other hand, will want to be paid more to help them go through the current cost of living crisis. So in this part here, the yellow part, you're building on from your point, and now you're explaining your point in more detail. And then finally, guys, what it's going to lead to? Well, employees are going to be unhappy potentially if they're not able to get a raise. It could potentially result in them leaving the business, which will result in more recruitment costs for a business, and it will also result, another bad thing, in high staff turnover as well. So again, you've made your point in the red, you've explained your point in the yellow, and then finally in the green, you've explained what it will lead to for the business. Hope that was really helpful for you. I'd like to finish by saying thank you very much for watching the channel. Please like and subscribe to Revise Enterprise if you haven't done so already. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and TES as well. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.